Hey there VCE HHD students, my name's Andy, I'm a VCE Health and Human Development teacher. In this short video we're going to look at answering the 2018 VCE HHD exam, question number 10. Before we dive into question number 10, just remember that over at the Health Resources Hub YouTube channel there's a new video like this one coming out each day between now and the HHD exam at the end of this year, so please subscribe to access all of those and tell your HHD friends to do so too. I'm running the ACE Health and Human Development exam preparation sessions at the end of this year, so if you'd like to book a spot to those, you can at book.acevce.com. You can see there are social media links if you'd like to catch all of the videos that are coming out each day. You can follow us there, and there's also our email if you've got any questions or if you'd like to make a suggestion about videos you'd like me to work on. So you can see here question number 10 was worth 9 marks in 2018, and it started with a short piece of stimulus material that talked about the World Health Organization establishing the Commission on Ending Childhood Obesity. And what it was doing was it was reviewing, building upon and addressing gaps in existing guidelines and strategies, and it developed a set of recommendations to successfully tackle childhood and adolescent obesity in different contexts around the world. So then A was asking you for 2 marks to outline how the work of the WHO, reflected in the information above, contributes to good health and well-being. So there's really 2 parts to that question. You've got to identify, okay, when you're reading this question that it's focusing on the work of the WHO, so you should try to give an example of that, but it's also linking into health and well-being, so you have to reference a dimension of health and well-being. So as you probably learned in class, there's different examples of the work that the WHO carries out, and I'll also be doing a video on this later in the week, so make sure you keep an eye on the YouTube channel for that one. But some of the work of the WHO involves things like establishing guidelines and policies. So one example that you could have given, you could have mentioned that they were developing that set of recommendations or policies to tackle childhood obesity, which is an example of their work, and therefore this might help to reduce the number of children who are overweight or obese, okay, which can help them then to obviously maintain a healthy body weight, reduce their risk of conditions like type 2 diabetes, which promotes physical health and well-being. So you can easily link that into the physical dimension of health and well-being there for the second mark. B there is asking you to identify the WHO priority reflected in the information above. So remember there's 3 different WHO priorities, and so this one here would be promoting healthier populations because it's focusing on those non-communicable diseases, and an example of that obviously here is obesity. So that would have gotten you the mark there for B. Now, you can see here, I've just given you an example of the examiner's report for 10A because it wasn't a very successfully answered question. You can see only 13% of students achieved full marks, and so it was because not a lot of students understood examples, okay, of the work of the WHO. So as I said, I'm going to do a video on that later on in the week, so make sure you keep an eye on the YouTube channel for that. But they've given you a couple of examples here which were similar to the ones that I just spoke through before. Then C was asking you for 6 marks, so one of those unusual 6-mark questions that are coming up more and more in the exam. Why is childhood obesity now a global issue affecting high, middle and low income countries? Now if you look down at the examiner's report, you can see this is really poorly answered questions. The average was 1.7 marks and only 1% of students achieved 6 marks. And so there's a comment here in the examiner's report that mentioned that many students overlooked the need to discuss obesity as an issue in each of high, middle and low income countries. So if a question mentions all 3 of those income groupings, you need to make sure you reference them all to obtain, okay, full marks. They've given an example of a possible response here where they do reference all of those countries, okay. And so you can see here they've talked about how fast food outlets have become more common, okay, and advertising continues to children in high-income countries, which can increase the rates of childhood obesity. They then went on and talked about middle and low-income countries and how the rates are rising, okay, in these particular countries, and they linked that into global distribution and marketing. They talked about how large multinational fast food companies are marketing, okay, these high energy-dense, carbohydrate, sugar-filled foods, okay, to middle and low income countries where they have less understanding of health and well-being effects of these food, okay, and there's less money for the government to spend on things like health promotion and prevention, okay. They also made a link to countries such as these low-income countries where there's a migration of families from rural areas to larger cities in search of work, okay, and therefore they're less likely to be growing their own food on their farms and consuming these nutrient-dense foods, and more likely to rely on these energy-dense foods, okay, which are targeted or marketed by these large multinational companies, and that also is contributing to higher rates of childhood obesity, particularly in middle and low income countries. So you can see that's a question that's definitely worth having a go at, okay, because it was a question that students really struggled with in 2018. Okay, hopefully you found that video useful. As I mentioned, the Health Resource Hub YouTube channel is there. Make sure you subscribe to catch all the videos, ACE HHD exam preparation sessions, our social media links, and our email. Thanks so much.